morning. Good morning. How are you? Welcome to Money Mindset this morning. If you would do me a favor and share out the room. Let's get a little good morning tunes in. Good morning. All right, we're going to get into money and mindset on today. This is such an exciting topic. All right. So, good morning. I am Raquel Carr, your money magnet, financial strategist, digital disciple. I love God and I love talking about money and helping you get better with money. And today we're going to talk about money mindset. And this is just an awesome topic to talk about because a lot of times we don't think about how we show up with our money. So do me a favor and share the room. Say hi, good morning. I'm glad to have you here. This is just your good morning coffee or tea or water before you get your day going, talking about money mindset. It's important because we're about to go into the weekend. And when we go into the weekend, sometimes we spend money that we might not have kind of planned for. So I want to get your mind set and focused about money and just really how do you show up with money? How do you show up on a daily basis? So we are broadcasting from YouTube and Facebook, and also we are in Clubhouse. So one of the first things I want to talk to you about with money is really what's your relationship with money? When you think about money, what feelings or emotions pop up in your head, in your heart? Is it joy? Is it anxiety? Is it a little bit of fear? Is it excitement? What pops up in your heart just right now? Close your eyes. You think about money. What are the first thoughts that come? Put it in the chat. Tell me uh, what do you think of? Put your where you're from, where you're dialing in from in the chat, but what comes up in your heart? What's that feeling you feel right now when I say money or when you think about money? Is it a little bit of anxiety? Is it excitement? Is it fear? Is it frustration? The other thing I want to ask you is who handled the money when you were growing up? Was it your mama? Was it your dad? Was it your auntie, your grandma? Like who in your family handled the money? And what did that look like? Did they have conversations with you? Did you all talk about it? Was it at the dinner table? Was it scarce? Was it overflowing and abundant? What did it look like for you and your household? I know for me, when I was growing up, my father, he used to like to play the racetrack, and he would look at the papers and look at the horses, and he would go. And some days he would hit, and it'd be stacks like $10,000, and other days he would blow whatever money my mama put away. And there was times where my mom was hiding money and putting it in places so that my father wouldn't get it and do whatever it is for his next big idea, because he always had a mind that there was going to be something that he was going to be able to do to make it big. And baby, as quick as it came in, as quick as it went. And I think I remember that one time where there was stacks of money from going to the racetrack. And then the next time we didn't have nothing. And I was the middle child, so everything was hand me down. I could never get anything new. I had to always have whatever my sister had, and she was much taller than me at the time. So I would have these clothes. Nothing was ever for me. So that's my first memory of money. It's that scarcity, but then sometimes I see it, a lot of times I don't, kind of frustration over money, not ever being able to really have anything. And I remember saying to myself, I want something different when I get older. I don't want to be not knowing if I'm ever going to get a new pair of shoes, or shoes is just mine. They ain't nobody else worn. They are mine. Outfit that is picked out just for me. So those are the kind of things and struggles that I had. But I'm curious to know, what were some of the things that you had growing up? Because what you experience growing up is a direct relation to exactly how you probably show up with money today. If you had a parent that was really frugal, you could either be frugal or be the extreme opposite. So think about that relationship, because when we know the origin of where our habits come from, we're not just doing it just to be doing it. I can even still feel in my heart that kind of scarcity when it comes to money and not having it, and being so poor, so broke that you just you don't always know where that next meal is coming from, or you don't always know you know how you're going to be able to make it. I think poverty, and I don't know if any of you have experienced poverty, but poverty is painful. It was painful for me. I remember just being, I don't want to live like this for the rest of my life. I don't. I want to get out of this. So that's my first memories. Those are how money showed up. There was no credit cards. So I never experienced, kind of as a kid, where somebody was swiping cards and we just didn't, that wasn't a thing. It was cash, government, it was those type of things when I was growing up. So knowing how your money was handled in your family kind of gives you an insight on how you handle money. And so I'm going to talk about my top 10 of relationship with money. Now, there are people that have done extensive studies, but I just find some things are a little unique in certain areas. So here are my top 10 for your relationship with money. And the first one is the mistress. The mistress, the sneaky leak. You spending somebody else's money. Yeah, it's not yours, and you don't have it. But when it comes to what money you're going to spend, is that mistress money. So is your relationship with money one that you don't have your own, or you digging in someone else's pockets, and that's where you're able to find, wherever you find yourself on this journey, please write it in the comments if any of these resonate with you, uh, because then you'll know why you show up like that. The other is that arm candy. If your relationship with money is that arm candy, so that arm candy look good on the outside. You got the latest stuff, you got the designer this, the designer that. You show up, you look fabulous, but baby, there's nothing in the bank account, there's nothing in the wallet, there's no stash, there's no nest egg, but you look good. Is that your relationship? Just being able to want to show up beautifully. However, when you go home, you don't know where your next coins are coming from. My number three is that cleanup, that cleanup woman, that handyman money. That's the kind of money that shows up as, okay, I have to clean this up. I'm going to do some refi, and try to put everything into some place. I'm going to transfer this balance to one of the other cards so that I can constantly keep moving around. It's that cleanup. It's never stable, but however, it gets you out in the clutch. Is that your relationship? And you might resonate with a few of these. Then, as you notice, I'm kind of leading up to the end. This is my top 10. Dysfunctional. That dysfunctional relationship. You don't know if the money coming, you don't know if it's going, you don't know where it's at, you don't know where they at 3 a.m., you don't know where's your money at, where's that, where is it going, what's going on with it. That is that dysfunctional money that you don't know when your next coins are coming in, and you don't know how much you have saved. You digging in the corners, you calling folks for money. That's that dysfunctional money. When you have it, you're having a great time, but when you don't, You don't. Now, this is when we get to that love-hate relationship. That love-hate. You love to have stuff. You love to show up, but you don't want to admit that, and you feel some shame when you say, I love money. I want to have some money, but you don't want to say that out loud. You want to say that you want to have the stuff, but you got the hate relationship. Like you love it on one end, but you hate it on the other side. Just not having a real stable relationship with your money. My next one is that overprotective money, that overprotective relationship. What does that look like? That looks like stingy. You ain't spending nothing. You don't want nobody to have it. You saving up your nest egg. You don't have no fun. You don't want to give nothing. You have it stored up for a rainy day. And even if the rainy day never come, you don't live for today. You're tight, very frugal. That's that overprotective relationship that you might have with money. And let's talk about that transactional, okay? You got things under control. You got you got your money where it needs to be. It's transactional though. You don't have anything extra. Second, it hit that account. Is second is going out to be paid and the bills being paid somewhere else. Feel free to like and share this room if this is getting good to you. This is when we start getting good. This relationship is friends with benefits. When you're in a relationship with your money, you got friends with benefits. This is when you can travel, you can do things that you want to do. However, you don't really know what the future holds. You don't have a good handle on your retirement, what next steps look like. Just but it's fun. You're having a good time. You're having a good time. You got enough money to go around. You pass it maybe to, you're paying for other people, meals and things like that. You're having a good time when you go out. However, that long term isn't quite clear. You might have a little bit of savings. You can do a little bit. And today we're talking about your relationship with money mindset, and where it comes in at. So I'm giving you my top 10. Just going to do a quick recap. We got the mistress relationship, arm candy, cleanup woman, handyman, dysfunctional relationship, love, hate, overprotective, transactional. We just got finished with friends with benefits, and we are going to move into that committed relationship. This is when you have your budget together. You know where your money is. You got your savings. You might have a little 401k. You might have some retirement, might have some of that, but you really don't have all of your pieces in place. Like, let's say you die today. It's very unclear on what's going to happen. What's next step. But for right now, your stuff is in order. You have a good understanding how much money comes into your account, how much goes out. All of those things are clear. But your long term, your legacy planning isn't stable. Your insurances, your beneficiaries, your intellectual property, all of those things aren't firmed up. Or what retirement looks like. How much money will you have in retirement? It does not matter how old you are. If you are of working age, you should be still thinking about retirement. Your future self will thank you if your present self takes care of you. So you always have to think about, instead of thinking about everybody else in the room, think about future you. Future you is screaming, saying, baby, please don't forget about me. That comes with your health and your finances. Please make sure that you're thinking about your future self. And we're going to land into that married. When you in a strong married committed relationship with your money, you've made it official. You know it's growing. You know what it's doing. You're checking on it. You care for it. You're going to check the counts. You know exactly what your retirement is going to look like. You know what will happen if you pass away. Your affairs are in order. Your paperwork is where it needs to be. That's the ultimate place that we want to get to. So where do you find yourself on the continuum of my definitions of relationship? Are you in a dysfunctional relationship with your money where you got payday loans? You're doing, your money is funny. You don't know when it's coming in or when it's going out. Do you have a very overprotective relationship? Are you a little bit stingy? A little bit, when you don't want to give, you give and it shall be given unto you. So you want to have a good balance and you want to think about your future. And sometimes we get a little bit ahead where we can think about today and tomorrow, but we don't have a plan in place to really think about our future. I met this guy. I remember I was I think it was in Vegas one time, and I met this guy, and he said he was an older guy, and And he said, yeah, I'm spending all my money. He said, I ain't leaving nothing for nobody. I ain't leaving nothing for no kids. Ain't nobody left nothing for me. I ain't leaving nothing for nobody else. They gonna have to figure it out the way I figured it out. Is that you? Are you thinking about your life and who you're leaving behind and being able, are you thinking about being able to support and uplift those that are connected to you? Because that's so important. But sometimes we might have a mindset, particularly if we come from first generational struggle. If you come from that first generation struggle, ain't nobody help you, you might not want to help nobody else. So the question is, what do you feel about that? How do you feel about being in a position where you're not just thinking about today, and you're not just thinking about your retirement time, but you're also thinking about your legacy and what it looks like when you pass away. Far too often, we're doing GoFundMe's for emergencies, GoFundMe's for burials, and we want to move away from the GoFundMe and start to plan. Because if we start to plan and we have a healthy relationship with our money, that healthy mindset, healthy relationship will support you and where you want to go when you are at a point where you want to do different things. So I think you just have to think about very intentionally of how you want to show up, and think about your money as a family member in your household. I think a lot of times we've been taught so much that you know you're not supposed to love money, but really, if you look in the Bible, love of money and love, meaning love is patient, love is kind, that kind of agape love, are two different terms in the Bible. So love of money is really about, um, you don't want to lust after your money. So you don't want to be in a situation where your money is become your God. But when you love something, true love, God's love, that means your love is patient. What does that mean, patient? That means you're going to allow your money to grow in its investment account. You're not going to be constantly taking it out every time there's an emergency. Love is patient. Love is kind. That means you're going to say kind words to it so it can do what it's supposed to do. Money has a job. That's another member of the household. Money is supposed to grow. It's supposed to work for you. It's supposed to multiply. And if it's not doing those things, then you have to look at that money and you have to make some decisions about what you want to do with it. Um, it doesn't keep a record of wrong. So you're not making decisions based off of some negative past. That's why I asked you in the beginning, what was your relationship with money? What was those early memories of money? Because that will help you decide how you're showing up. And if you're showing up today the same way your parents showed up, then you're keeping a record of wrongs. They might have managed money incorrectly, and you don't want to carry that forward. It's not boastful, it's not prideful. So when you love something, you're not walking around flashing it, that arm candy money I talked about earlier, where you just want to appear that you have it all together, yet you don't have it all together. So you want to have a healthy relationship. You want to treat your money like it's another family member. This is another kid in the household. This is somebody else that needs it. You send instructions. It has a job to do, things that it's supposed to take care of. This is one of the most important relationships we are ever going to have in our lives. Like literally, money supplies. Bible says money supplies, satisfies all things. Money is going to make sure that you have a roof over your head. It's going to provide your clothing, your food, your basic necessities, your travel. So if you don't establish a very healthy relationship with money, you're always going to be in a dysfunctional state, because there's a whole lot of relationships that could die, but you're going to always need to have a relationship with your finances. And you get to determine what that looks like. A lot of times, an unhealthy relationship with money doesn't always show up as, oh, I need to get some help for this. I see a lot of times when people say, I have a shopping addiction, but they refuse to seek any type of support to help with that. Or my credit is really bad. It is so expensive to have bad credit. But because of shame, because of guilt, and all these other things, we sometimes just don't get the support that we need so that we can move from a place of low credit score to amazing credit score. Now, if you have enough money, you don't need credit. But if you do need credit, there's no sense in paying twice as much as everyone else just because your number is low. The number is a point in time that can be changed at any given time with consistent effort. And sometimes what you think you see, and you might not think that there's a way out or there's a way to be better, but it actually is. You just have to go for it. You have to say, you know what? I don't want to see anything under 700 anymore. What do I need to do? And you start looking for those different resources, and you would be amazed at how simple and easy it is to change. But sometimes when we have in our mind that we have it under control, or we're going to take care of it, or we're ashamed, or we're embarrassed, if we had some type of illness, we would go seek treatment. But when we're having a sickness in our finances, and sickness in our finances look like when it's just transactional, looks like when you don't have enough, looks like when the credit score is low, there is assistance and there is support out there all over. I want to ask you a question. What is your golden number? What's the number you want to make? How much money is enough? Because sometimes, you want more, you're thinking about more, but you haven't really thought about what it is that you actually want. What does that golden number look like to you? Just write, just think about it. Just write down your goals. What would it look like if the number that's going to help you get, because sometimes it's never enough. You get more money, you get more things. You get more money, you get more things. You get more money, you get more things. And it's a vicious cycle of unhappiness because you're always trying to get more. And there's never a point where you're like, this is where I'm satisfied. I can live here and this is good for me. You have to get to the point where you decide what your number is, what it looks like, and what you'd be satisfied. Because if it's a bottomless pit, you're never going to be happy. You're never going to just enjoy this life and the good things that are around you. But you have to get to the point where you know what you're praying for, you know what you desire, you know where you want to be in life. And if you get that number in your head, if you write it down, write the vision and make it plain, you can start to figure out how to get there. But if it's always, I want more, 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 I see this person has this, I see that person has that. And every time I see somebody else that has something, I want it. 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 That is a problem. It's you have to figure out what inside of you is never satisfied. That why you can never reach the point where you need to be. What is that about? What emotions is coming up for you that your heart is always set that when you see something that someone else has, you gotta have it. Not only do you have to have it, you have to have it better. And you don't mind going in debt so that you can keep up with what everyone else is doing. So start to think about what your ultimate number is, where you can be happy, where you can be satisfied. And if it's like, oh, I'll be satisfied with $1 million, not necessarily. If you're not satisfied today, and if you look over your past 10 years and you've made more now than you've made 10 years ago, and you're still not happy, and no matter how much you get, you still want more. No matter how much you get, you keep adding expenses, you keep adding liabilities because you're always going to continue to level up. At what point do you start to say, this is where I can live, and this is where I'm going to place my nest egg, my future, my legacy? Where, what is the number? When do you start thinking about the you that's no longer here? What are they going to say about you? Are they going to be at the funeral trying to get money together to make sure that you're buried? Or are they going to be there and they're going to be supporting you because you've left money for family, you've left adequate provisions? Do you have these things written out? Do you have a thought in your mind of what do you want it to look like? And I'm not trying to be doom and gloom, but we got to think about our life in total and not just right now. And sometimes when we're in the mode of keeping up with what's going on around us, we don't think about the long term. If you're constantly pulling from, or if you don't have a retirement fund at all, um, your future self is going to struggle. And if you're thinking, oh, I could work until I die, you're not guaranteed to be in health to work until you die. So you have to think about, this body might not hold up. And if it doesn't hold up, and if you're stuck with being on support from the government, um, or your quality of life could be impacted because there was no planning, because there was no thought of what happens next. So I want to just encourage you this morning. Didn't want to be on here long. I just want to give you a dose before you go into the weekend and make some spending choices that may or may not serve you. That you think about what your relationship is with money. How did money first show up for you in your household? How is that now governing how you move about this earth and how you move about your finances? Is your finances where they need to be? Do you need support? Do you need help getting it better? And if you do, what's holding you back? Because if you're living in shame or fear and you don't want anyone to see what your finances look like, but somebody has what it takes for you to get better, it would be shame on you. Imagine someone having what you need so that you can be propelled into the future. And you saying, I don't want them to know about it. I don't want them to know that I have these type of struggles. So, ask yourself that. Hey, how are you? Good morning. You want to talk about some money? No, you just wanted to. I'm sorry. Bye bye. All right. Yes. All right. All right. Well, thank you for popping in. Yeah, so you want to just think about what your future looks like, what you want your future to look like, and make some steps to get there because now is the time. We cannot, there's high level inflation right now. Now is the time to look at your finances. And if you need help, instead of spending that money on something else that is not going to serve you, spend it on some resources that is going to help you to get better, help you to move and have a good mindset about your finances. If you need help with your budget, I have a very affordable budget planner that you can use, that you can download, or you can use an Excel, and it is only $27. You can click the link in the bio. It's going to help you out with all kinds of areas of your budget, from setting your financial goals to deciding which goals you want to focus on. It is an amazing, amazing planner that will kind of carry you through your journey. And at each and every month, you'll have some time for reflection. What did you do well? What could you improve upon? So I just want to encourage you that if you need assistance, if you need support, please, please seek that support so that you can have the best relationship with money. So it will not only serve you, serve those around you, serve your community, and you can feel good and light when you have your relationship with money, and you can move from a healthy place, you can move from a dysfunctional place to a healthy place, or you can get even healthier by helping others to become healthy with money as well. So have a wonderful day today. Thank you so much for joining, and until next time, know before you go, take care of your finances. I am Raquel Carr, your money magnet financial strategist. Talk to you soon.